Hey everybody, it's Rob with Cherry City Guns and Ammo, and today we're looking at a really cool old classic pistol, the Beretta 84 BB, commonly known as the Beretta Cheetah. Stick around. Excuse my snort. Yes, folks, we are looking at a Beretta 84 BB, also commonly known as the Beretta Cheetah. You can't get these anymore. They don't make them. I can't remember the year. I looked it up at one point. I don't remember. Early 2000s, they stopped making these. This one in particular was made in 1987, and this was a birthday present for my wife this year. She really likes, I have an old Beretta 92S, which is very similar to the FS or the M9. The main difference, there's a few other differences, but the main difference is it's got a heel magazine release. This at least has a trigger guard magazine release. But it's a great pistol to shoot. My 92 is my wife's favorite gun of mine to shoot. And she has some shoulder issues and some other things that she's had a hard time finding a carry gun that she really likes. But she loves the way my old Beretta 92S shoots. Well, the Cheetah is basically just a shrunken down version of the Beretta 92. They are very, very, very similar. There are some differences, and some of them are negative. But overall, style-wise, heft, feel, like everything is very similar, just much smaller. And they're such a cool little gun. They have a huge following. I don't know why they ever stopped making them. They recently started making, they just released the Beretta, they call it the 80X. I don't want it. I have no interest in it. For number one, we're talking about a 12 round capacity 380 that is similar in size to a Glock 19. That's running like $900 for that 80X. The other thing is I don't like the 80X for the same reason I don't like the 92X. The old 92s and these Cheetahs, to me, there is some sex appeal in this design. It is just a sexy looking gun. The curves and the open top design, they still have the open top design, but if you look at the new ones, the back of the grip is just absolutely just straight as can be. It really detracts from the look, and honestly, to me, detracts from the feel. I feel like having this nice curve really fills out the palm of my hand and makes for very comfortable, very ergonomic grip that I really like quite a bit. And that 80X doesn't have it, just like the 92X. I'm not a fan. I have no desire for either one of those. Now for a used gun, because these have such a following, you can pay a lot for these. I got this one for $500, and the grips were absolutely beat to crap. It could use rebluing. The medallions in the grip were missing. I refinished these grips and they look a lot better than they do, but they're still beat up. You can't unbeat them up. I did find a pair of the medallions on eBay, and I bought the medallions and glued them in. But it's, you know, it's an older used gun, but it still works phenomenally. And honestly, I shoot this just as good as I shoot my 92. And like the 92, it is a single double action gun. So when you rack it, hammers back, your first shot, single action, and every shot after that is single action. However, for carrying purposes, you can lower the hammer and carry hammer down with or without the safety on. It does have a nice thumb safety, an ambidextrous thumb safety, I'll add. And then your first shot, double action, and then single action for every subsequent shot after that. Has a similar takedown system to the Beretta 92. The sights are a little bit different because it has this 2-dot system, upper and a lower. I've never really dealt with a sight system quite like that, but it seems to be quite easy to get used to. The main downside, there's one major downside to the Cheetah, and my wife struggles with this, but she shoots the gun well enough that she will deal with the struggle, and that is, it's a straight blowback design. which means it's fully just recoil that moves the slide back. Most semi-automatic pistons, like the 92 has like 2 little drop down lugs, but most of your semi-auto pistols have a tip barrel design. And what that does is it just has a tiny fraction of a second delay while your peak pressures die off, and then by the time they unlock, there's enough recoil left to still cycle the action without having to have a lot of mass. But where this is a fixed barrel and it just comes back under recoil, there's only one of 2 ways to fix it, or combining those 2 ways. And that is a very heavy slide or a very heavy recoil spring, or a combination thereof. A lot of people are familiar with the high point pistols. They have a huge, god-awful, ugly slide on them. That is so there's enough mass to absorb all that recoil, because that's a pure blowback pistol as well. Well, this is an open top slide design, so not only does it not have a huge, heavy, bulky slide, it has a much lighter slide than a lot of guns in the same size range. So they compensate by having a very heavy recoil spring. So between this being a very small slide and not huge amounts of checkering on it, and a heavy recoil spring, it is tough to cock. That's my only downside to this gun. It's the only bad thing I can say about it. But it shoots great. It's a sexy looking gun. I really like it. My wife really likes it. She shoots it well so far. So we're running this thing. So let's shut up. We've done enough talking. Let's do some more shooting. Let's run down our plate rack here. Let's shoot the Scoops TV plate. Let's hit our hostage popper. And that's empty. The other bad thing, it came with 1 magazine. I spent 30 bucks a piece and bought 2 brand new Metgar magazines that work fantastic, and I couldn't find them before I made the video. So I gotta pause this thing and go reload this. I'll be right back, and we're gonna do just nothing but shooting from here on out. All right, we're back, loaded magazine. If you're curious, I'm shooting 100 grain ammo, incorporated ammo. Let's go out just for funsies. Let's jump out there to 100 yards. So you see our 100-yard backstop right there, just beyond. That's our 60-yard caribou and plates, and then there's our 100-yard backstop. And the right edge, we've got that red 2/3 size silhouette. Let's see about 100-yard shots with a 380. I'm gonna take off my sunglasses so I can see better here. There we go. There we go. Not too shabby if you ask me. Not me, the gun. That's a pretty good little 380. You can pretty reasonably, without a lot of practice, make 100-yard shots with a little 380. I am super in love with this. The only thing that stops me from buying one for myself is once you get into a pistol this size, there's a lot of really good options in a caliber better than 380, 9mm, with even higher capacity. This holds 12 rounds of 380. My little teeny tiny pocket Ruger LCP Max holds 12 rounds of 380 ACP. It's half the size and is half the weight, maybe more like a third of the weight. But for people like my wife who have shoulder issues, where a little heavier gun to help with the recoil helps out, and having a little bit more to hold on to helps out, I believe this is actually a pretty good option, except for the incredibly tough recoil spring. But we're managing to work beyond that, even that being the case. Super cool gun, super classic. I believe they're really only going up in value because the further we get out from these original, the good looking ones being made, the more they're going to be worth. I believe with beat to crap grips, we paid more for this than it was brand new in 1987. Most likely, without any doubt. It's just a great gun. It's so cool. It's such a good shooter. I honest to God shoot it just as well as I shoot my full-size 92, and I shoot that pretty well. I'm in love with this little thing. I'm glad my wife has it, so now I can take and shoot it when I want to, and then I can have different carry options for myself. Anyway, if you like the video, please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe if you haven't before. I really appreciate you guys coming back week after week and watch me goof around. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.